Geekly. This week, no, you didn't. The Bone Temple, lol, and putting the home in theater. And now your host, Mike and Deglio. Well, that was a trap. That was a full-on trap.
I thought...
I'm being punked.
For those of you just joining us, welcome to K&M Geekly. Just a sneak peek at a quartet of geeks trying to get through the next 30 seconds, let alone the week. This is week 2 of the relaunch. Thank you for joining me yet again, friends, even after the catastrophe that is the first 20 minutes of the pre-show. I'm Mike Indeglio. That's Keith Varney. Below me, that's Ronnie P., Ron Parson, and over there on the diagonal, that's the Manimal Nick Indeglio. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for week 2. Nick, it is Martin Luther King Day, for those of you joining us live. Nick, you had a funny, you reminded me of something I wanted to talk about briefly, but before you do, I wanted to thank the few, the proud, the people who actually watched the show last week. We had, and I'm tallying it right now, more than 0 people.
Multiple.
Wow.
Multiple people.
Well, no, more than 0 was 1. We had 1 person. It wasn't me.
No, yes, there were a few people who watched the show. We also gained a new patron, so thank you to the patrons. I'm going to actually add a patron slide so we can scroll those and see them, and we can thank you in person. And a lot of people welcoming Ron to the show. Ron, new friend.
I know,
face,
like your
so
audience is really nice, guys. Thank you. I feel loved, man.
That's the whole point.
Thank you.
They will change, but we got a long comment on last week's episode from a friend of the channel, Jason Moe, and I thought I would read that to start today before we get into things, and tie up any loose ends from the previous week. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or just want to rant about what we thought about something, let us know in the comments, or you can always write us at knmgeekly@gmail.com. Jason Moe says, yes! Nice to ring in the new year with the long-awaited return of Geekly. I know this is a passion project for Mike, and I love it too. Big welcome to Ronnie. Welcome back to Nick. And it's nice to see Keith joining Geekly too.
I was here.
He's just not committal. I really enjoy having 4 of you guys here together, getting lots of different perspectives. Here's my short stream of consciousness reaction to some of the topics you covered. Ron and Mike, love the story about you guys meeting in kindergarten, playing Super Mario World at Ronnie's house. I'm a few years older than most of you guys. Sounds like I'm about the same age as Nick. But I had a childhood friend whose parents always bought him the cutting edge stuff. And I remember when he got Super Mario Brothers 2 on the original NES before anybody else had it. And I felt lucky getting to do a birthday sleepover at his house to play the heck out of that game all night long. I agree with you of general opinions about the Switch 2. It's the first Nintendo console I've had with 0 interest in buying. Switch 1 was amazing for the family. But their taste in games has changed quite a bit since the Switch 1. And so I have become very much a PlayStation player, and I agree that we got to get Keith a Sony PlayStation, just so many first-person games. Nick, I 100% agree with you with AC Odyssey being a masterpiece. I also agree with that. He also goes on to sing the praises of Split Fiction and A Way Out. And co-op gaming is actually a conversation I like to have maybe a whole episode to talk about. Nick and I are always on a quest to find the next great co-op game to kind of like play online. And we've had some successes. We'll talk more about that. Jason's also loving The Pit. Can't recommend it high enough. And he loved the Superman movie as well. Keith, he goes on a huge diatribe here, and we can talk about this perhaps on another show, but he wholeheartedly believes that I can and nay should be watching Starfleet Academy, despite little niggles of spoilers here and there. So I'd love to just kind of go around the horn and let's all just comment anything you want to add to that. I'll start by saying I'm going to watch The Pit. And also, I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well. It's the last, I think, Assassin's Creed I finished in earnest, meaning played all the DLC, loved it. And I got so kind of burnt out by it that I've yet to be able to really fully jump one in. But Jason, thank you so much for being part of the show. Keep those comments coming. Let's go down around the horn. Ronnie, what do you have to say?
I have to say, Jason, you're amazing. You're the man. And Ari actually listened to the show, and I got in trouble. Yeah, she's like, I didn't yell at you while playing Split Fiction. So I'm in the doghouse for that. So thanks, guys.
Oh,
Thanks
wow.
a lot.
Ari listened to the show?
Yeah, she actually listened to the show, man. Like, wow. Her and her best friend Ty, they listened to the show, dude.
Wow.
Oh, well, yeah. Nick, any responses to Jason?
I would just add, because the one thing we didn't mention last week when we talked about Mike and Ronnie's friendship blossoming in kindergarten is that the reconnection happened many years later.
That's right.
When it turns out an entire year of kindergarten took place for my daughter and for Ronnie's daughter, where they talked about their friends, Ari and Talia, but last names were never mentioned. Then all of a sudden, Ronnie and I were chaperoning a field trip in May, and it turns out that it was an Indeglio and a Parson. So that's where we kind of like rekindled the friendship, and here we are today, all these years later. So the Indeglio Parson friendship continued in the following generation, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's a bit of a beef currently as to who has the better friendship, and I mean, yeah, I think time equity counts for a lot, so we win. But we also have the podcast, so we can say we win. So there you go. Keith, what do you have to say to Jason, Tiberius, Mo?
Well, I mean, I got to say about the rekindling friendships. Like one of the best friendships I have in my life was with the woman who performed my wedding, and I performed her wedding, and we went to a drama camp together back in high school, back in the 90s, early high school. Anyway, point being, we'd reconnected on Friendster. And that is how because we'd lived in different places. We came from other places. So thanks to Friendster, reconnecting a friendship from many years ago.
I'm going to sound really dumb right now, but is that a new app, Friendster?
No, that was
old,
pre-MySpace.
Right? Really?
It was the first. It was like before MySpace, one of the very first social networking things out there.
Friendster.
And because at that point there was literally no way to reconnect. If you lost connection when you were in high school, you now both live in different places. Turned out we both lived in the city, and it was like a whole thing. So there you go. Friendster does not exist anymore, and it's very, very old. But yes. So Jason, your point on spoilers and Voyager, because I read your comment and I've been giving it a lot of thought and sort of seeing the point, because trying to figure out, because Mike sent me this whole Chat GPT screen that almost like melted my phone.
Yeah.
Trying to Chat GPT is like, here's why I think you should be allowed to watch the show, because it only spoils bink, bonk, boonk. And those were the major spoilers of the entire thing. So like ChatGPT already spoiled the central mystery of the show. But Jason's point is it's not really that much of a mystery. And so it does not have the same level of spoilers as Deep Space Nine by any measure. So I'm giving it some thought, and I think there's some validity to what you're saying, Jason.
Okay. I guess that's, we should briefly touch on this because it's important in this day and age, especially with our show, because we're going to talk about a movie today. Let's level set. Nick, let's start with you. What is a spoiler? What is a spoiler-free review? And what do you think is fair game on internet discourse when discussing pop culture, movies, TV shows? How do we deal with that? How are we going to deal with what we can say, what we shouldn't say? Like, what is fair game?
I think it's fair to say that a spoiler-free review should be not giving away any specificity of what happens in a film, a series, a song, whatever it is that we're talking about. But it does go a little step further, because there are many a movie review that call themselves spoiler-free that wind up giving excessive amounts of detail from the movie, particularly opening scenes, things like that. So I would say, for a definition, at least when I'm talking spoiler-free, if I give you anything that could take a piece of surprise away from the viewing experience or unduly prejudice you to what's happening, I would consider that a spoiler. I hate spoilers. Mm-hmm. They are one of my least favorite things. And but I will admit that I am sometimes want to be tempted to look at a spoiler or two. It's gotten easier as I've gotten older to not do that, because there's less in life to look forward to. So I would appreciate to have the things there are to look forward to. Yeah, so that's my stance on spoilers.
So, Ronnie, I come to you as... Guys, I have to tell you out there in land, I think Nick, Keith, and I have pretty much learned how to self-regulate our social media engagement. Ronnie's not good at that. And so
No,
Ron is still
buddy.
out there fighting the fight
We gotta
against
take your phone away.
internet trolls and internet spoiler people. If people put a spoiler on Facebook or whatever, or what he deems as a spoiler, instead of just like ignoring and turning the other cheek, he rages, which I do love to watch. Rod, tell me about your hatred of spoilers and how you are fighting the fight online.
Dude, listen, I have lost friends over spoilers, man. I have lost friends. I hate spoilers. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it in front of me. I hate it. I'll say this, man. At least me in a perfect world, you would give it a week. 7 days is enough time. Or at least a weekend. Like, come on, guys, a weekend. So I'm at the point now where, like, we saw Bone Temple on Friday. If I really want to see something, I avoid social media. No Facebook, no X, no Instagram. I avoid everything. I know there's certain keywords you can put in, but I'm not taking that chance, dude, because that's bit me in the ass before, man. So yeah, I'd say 2 days, a weekend, please. Like, there's already spoilers for Bone Temple. And I'm like, dude, it just came out on Thursday, and I'm seeing spoilers on Saturday. And I rage baited on a, forget what platform it was, something on Facebook. I went on the guy's page. I'm like, dude, it's been out for like 2 days. Like, come on, man. You're being an asshole. See, I'm getting upset now thinking about it. I'm upset now. Like Nick said, there's certain things we look forward to. And why do you want to ruin it for people? I just don't understand that, man.
I think you hit the nail on the head,
days.
Keith. I think, yes.
Yeah, no, yes, Ronnie, I'm with you 100%. And like, you should have seen me screaming at people trying to protect Mike from Deep Space Nine spoilers, and
Successfully.
because it's mostly successfully. But I had to be such a dick about it, and I really wish that I didn't have to be, because I think two things. You know, what defines a spoilers? Anything that would diminish someone's joy in experiencing it the first time, and like whatever that is, and it's different for every property, it's different for everything, but like there's a reason you're talking about it, right? Because it brought you some sort of a joy, some sort of excitement, some sort of an experience that you went through, and you want to share that with other people. But if you share it in a way that diminishes their joy so they get less of it, you're giving them leftovers, and you want people to enjoy the meal the first time. And I think people who put out spoilers, especially quick, like you're talking, Ronnie, that is not a discussion of the product. That is attention seeking. And all you want to do is, I saw the cool thing and you didn't. Look at me, look at me. That's just narcissism. Get over yourself, and don't do that.
Well,
Preach.
there you go. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about in this opening was, and we're still going to do it.
Coming in hot.
We're still going to do it because I put it in the time. I made Keith read it in the title. We got our first kind of major snowstorm this year, 6 inches. It depends on the way you look at the ruler, but
where do you measure it from?
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to.
If you have to dig a hole in the yard a couple feet down.
I just wanted to quickly.
Are you measuring from the ankles, Mike? That's the question.
Quickly remember what it was like when we were like kids in the 80s, like what a snow day from school, what that entailed versus as a grown up. Just to kind of, we don't have to. I don't want to go misery seek. I'm more interested in the fun part earlier, but clearly things have changed. Nick, I want to start with you because you told a funny anecdote on the thread. And what are your memories of growing up? What was a snow day? What do you remember from playing with your friends, our family? And then what is this week? What was this weekend like?
Yeah, it changes quite a bit, doesn't it? Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, when we were kids,
It's horrifying.
I remember distinctly, it could be late night the night before because we didn't have the internet and we didn't really have anything other than the 11 o'clock news. And just going to my window and looking out the window and trying to determine whether or not the snow that was falling would be enough to make the call. And then the only way you would find out was by listening to KYW News Radio 1060.
Yes.
And each school district had a number, and our number was 307. So we were waiting, and it always felt like you'd hear them, read through the list, and it'd be 303, 304, 305, 306, 308. And you're like, wait, what? How did we skip 307? How did that happen? But then, once that day became a day, it didn't matter if it was a Monday, a Tuesday, or it didn't matter what day of the week. it seemed like the day lasted forever. And I distinctly remember some of the times we would go to Valley Forge to sled down one of the large hills in the park. And even thinking back to that, I try not to think too hard because then I'm like, man, yeah, we were pretty cold and wet and it was hard to walk up those hills. Like, there's negatives to think about, but most of it was just joy, the joy of childhood. And my comment, very simply for this old crotchety 50-year-old guy was, it literally snowed 3 times in 3 days, and I had to fully shovel everything 3 times.
Uphill in both directions?
Yeah, it just sucked, Keith.
With a bionic shoulder. Bionic shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, come on. The past year, right? Shoulder, stroke, hip, this guy shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff, but real life. So it goes from, waiting for that call to how long is it going to take us to be able to dig out?
Well, actually, that brings me a question, Nick, is, and you don't have to go into like the weeds of it, but now working as an administrator in the public school system, what goes in,
right.
I know you don't make it personally, but what goes into that decision? Now we have the torture that is the 2-hour delay, which I think is even worse than just having to go to school, right? You get like a taste of it. But like, what goes into that decision? How much hate rage do you get from not canceling school or canceling school? Like, how's that work from your side of the desk?
That's actually a superintendent decision. And what happens now is, because of the age of the internet, you have a million different, pretty accurate forecasts that broadcast in real time. But local superintendents in the same county, normally, they get together at about 4 a.m. and they try to make similar calls if possible. So if there's 4 districts all getting the same amount of snow, they usually want to either call off or not call off together. Now, certain things impact that, for example, we had a situation where we probably could have had school, but they had to call a day because we couldn't get enough bus drivers in to transport all the kids. So there are extenuating factors and circumstances that kind of play into that. But on the whole, I would say it's a relatively intelligent decision that's now made. And just like anything else in life, no matter which decision is made, you piss off 50% of the people who think you're the stupidest person who's ever lived. Now, the one thing I will disagree with that you said, Mike, is that teachers, at least, they love the 2-hour delay. We love a 2-hour delay because you get to sleep in a little bit. And then once the day starts, it's a shorter day. So, that's kind of still a treat. And you get the day counts. So basically, you're not making up a day come summertime or losing a day of spring break or anything like that.
That's a good point.
Keith, you dealt with snow a lot more than we did. Vermont.
Sure did.
So what was that like?
Well, I'll tell you the thing about a snow day in Vermont, at least when I was a kid, was a snow day was not a snow day. They would not cancel school just for snow. People were prepared for snow. You'd have to get well over a foot before that would be enough. You canceled school because of ice or something. It has to be, you were not praying for 8 inches of snow. You wanted a wintry mix. You wanted ice, you wanted snow, and that's what they would actually get rid of, because with the plows, we were ready for it. But yeah, very much the same situation. The radio, and we could barely get AM radio at all where we were. So we were like desperately trying to get an AM 620, and then they would do it more frequently there than on the NPR station. But yeah, same deal. The problem is that they sometimes would do it late. And so waiting for the school bus for me was like a whole thing, because I had the literal walk down the driveway, which is a third of a mile long in 20 degrees below, to wait for the school bus driving on the dirt road. But yeah, a very similar situation, because my parents were teachers as well. So we were not just listening for our district. We were listening Chittenden East. We were also listening for Chittenden South, because that very much affected how good the day was going to be, whether or not my mother had to go to work, but we didn't. And so it was a whole thing. So yeah, it was good times. We had the blizzard in '93. That was probably like the best.
We got that as well.
Time.
That was a big one.
But yeah, it meant a lot more shoveling for us, because if we got really substantial snow late in the winter, because the driveway's so long, and we had to plow it ourselves. We had a Jeep with a plow on it, but throughout the winter the snow would never leave. So you're plowing. The banks on the sides get bigger and bigger and bigger, and at some point you hit the point where there's nowhere for the snow to go. So then we would get 3 feet on top of that. And a couple of times we had to hand shovel a third of a mile driveway just to get the snow up over the banks so it had anywhere to go. So it wasn't always the super funnest, but I sound like an old man talking about the snow.
What'd you do this weekend? What was did you do any, what's grown up snow day?
Oh, well, here I work from home every day, snow day.
Yeah. I mean, like when it's like a wintry wonderland out there, do you stay hunkered in? Is that your vibe, or you like to go out and venture out?
No. Jillian and I, we usually walk through the snow. We did this time. There was a like accident happened right in front of us. But we usually do our walk in the snow, which is really nice, and try to keep the ancient Chihuahua from dying in the snow. That's really the biggest. And I try to take care of my outdoor cats. So,
Ronnie P.
Yeah, I just got a question. Like, where are the kids at to shovel for us? I remember, like, I never did this, but I had friends that actually went to people's houses and they got paid,
it's
like,
a damn
20
scam.
bucks.
Ronnie, a couple of girls from the couple houses down came by and like offered to shovel the stoop for me. One of the first one. I'm like, sure, of course.
How much?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
They asked for 10. I gave them 20 because I'm a sucker.
Why is that
That's
a scam?
awesome.
That's great.
Oh, because I came back and then like they got bored like a third of the way through and like pieced out.
That's horrible, dude.
Where was your sled hill, Ronnie, growing up?
Oh, man, Kingswood. We called it Killer Hill. Good times, man. Good times. I remember I rode down there and I fell off my sled right into the hood of a car. If I did that today, I'm breaking my wrist.
Oh, yeah.
But, back then I got up and went back up the hill. It was awesome. But today, no. Yeah, dude. I shoveled actually today. I was really bad this weekend. I just did nothing. I sat on my couch and binge watched TV. I watched football, then I binge watched some old TV shows I'll talk to you about later. And I actually did it today, which was really dumb because like it condensed. So it was horrible. You saw my driveway. I have a long driveway.
Yeah, and it's steep.
Yeah, adult snow days stink.
Mm-hmm.
They stink. I don't know. I'd stuck.
I live in a little townhome community, so it's not as much shoveling as necessary, which is nice. Getting the cars out is the big thing. It's like my dad gave me this obsession with running the car for a half an hour and then making sure every 20 minutes you get the snow off so that nothing ices over. And it's not like we're going, like Jen had to drive to Long Island this weekend, and so I was a little nervous for her. But I will say I got a dog who is a snow dog. This dog loves the snow. And so we went out for like a 3.5 mile hike yesterday along the trail. Nobody was out. 0 people were out, which I don't understand. It wasn't even cold. So I had her off her leash and she was living her best life. And we walked back to the car. So we did about 5.5, almost 6 miles out and back. And I realized I don't have the car keys. And this is the second time I've done this. I had to call Nick to come rescue me once because I dropped the car keys on a plane with the dog. And I'm screwed because Jen's out of town. I'm done. Like, it's snow. I'm not going to go find the keys. But we had just, like 2 weeks ago, put air tags on our keys. And my air tag let us, so the dog got like almost 7 miles of walking. We went out, we found the keys, which was like a tech miracle. The air tag is everything, worth whatever homing device they have on me. So that the dog has added like an element of not dreading the snow as much as sometimes I have. Especially when we lived in the city, the snow was just like shut down New York City if it snowed 3 flurries. Okay.
How was New York snow? Like, what's that like living in New York for snow days?
Just imagine snow with a lot of poop in it. That's basically,
It's like pretty for about 15 minutes, and then it's disgusting and in the way, which is such a bummer because I love snow, and it's just gnarly. So Mikey, I just sent you a picture of my sledding hill growing up, Casey's Hill in Underhill, Vermont.
You sent it to my email?
No, I put it in the chat.
Oh.
Look at me. I'm professional. I'm using the technology.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm actually there in that picture.
Oh, that's cool.
When I was a kid, yeah.
Rad.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's Mount Mansfield in the background.
You know, it's funny, when I was walking the dog yesterday, I was seeing all the people who like think because it's snowing, they don't have to pick up the dog poop. And then I think about all the times we sled as kids and how much poop we just roll around in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have the same properties when you're 12.
Well, Ronnie and I saw a movie this weekend, so we'll get to that. But I want to start with Keith. Let's go ahead. What have you been what was your like watch this weekend? What was your thing?
Well, I was watching football.
Football.
So and the news, obviously, but yeah. So I'm gonna save what I watched for my weekly rad.
Okay.
Because I just chain watched. I chain watched Baskets, the Zach Galifianakis show from like I don't know 5, 6, 10 years ago,
Great
something
show.
like that. And there's an amazing and late to the party, obviously. But I have something I want to talk about that show come up later.
What is your vibe on where the NFL is with like how are things looking and sounding? We've talked previously about how the NFL was way behind other sports with 4K and all that stuff, but it feels like it's getting a little better.
I mean, it's nice to have the Fox games in 4K. I think that looks nice. You know, it is ridiculous to me that like ABC, ESPN, and Fox normally is still putting out 720.
Yeah.
So everything looks better on the apps than on your cable or on like YouTube TV or whatever. So I always watch from the app itself, which has, you know, even if it's still 720, which is egregious at this point, at least it's less compressed.
Right.
But it does mean I'm usually about 15 seconds behind all my buddies, so I have to keep my phone far away from me.
Nick, what about you? What was your geek binge this week?
Pardon the dogs barking crazy. Actually, that was going to be my weekly rad too. I'll just give you one of the two. We watch a lot of murder TV. In fact, I've rearranged my YouTube TV feed so that the first 4 channels are like ID Discovery,
murder,
True TV. So it's all
it's
snapped,
categorized like found
here.
in a ditch, found under a car, in pieces.
What's one of those shows that's like murder, suicide, or gang murder?
Yeah, yeah, you got to figure out which one was it. Homicide. Yeah, it's crazy.
Which pretty blonde woman disappeared? Like what state did she come from?
Always a very popular one. And then of course there's the hurt thy neighbor or whatever it is,
right,
where the neighbors hate each other. And you get the worst reenactments in the history of the world. But
except for the one Ronnie was in.
Well, right, yeah,
Evil lives here.
Yes.
Evil Lives Here is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You were the police officer, right, Ron?
Yeah, it was, detective.
Mm-hmm.
These are the results.
I pulled those clips somewhere.
You did. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
We should show them.
Man. Thank you.
Jen was in one of those too, right, Mike?
Yeah, she was like bound and gagged for a while. It was great.
But so Friday nights are when you get the new episodes on network TV. So you have a Dateline in 2020 on your 2 of your big channels there. So this week on Dateline, it was called The Trouble with Sarah. And it was a woman who essentially killed about 5 husbands and got away with it for a ton of years. And then finally, a rookie detective came in and was able to figure her out and get the kibosh on her. But it was pretty fascinating to watch how well she was able to manipulate law enforcement and the legal system. And she set fires and did murders. I mean, all the things. So The Trouble with Sarah, Dateline's latest episode this week, would be what I was watching this weekend. I'll save the other one for the weekly rad.
Nice. I'll give you a quick one before we jump into the review. We talked briefly last week about the Smashing Machine and how it didn't need to be a thing because of the documentary. So there's another movie I mentioned that did the same thing. It's called Song Sung Blue. It's a documentary about these Mike and Claire Sardina. They were also known as Thunder and Lightning. They were a Neil Diamond. I
Tiki Barber,
fall
Ron
to
Jane.
pieces. Who's oh my god, I can't think
Streisand?
of. No.
Captain and Tennille.
No. I fall to pieces. Anyway, they had a Neil Diamond review, but they did other things. And so Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, there was a Hollywood movie that was released around Christmas, and I just got around to actually watching it. It was directed by Craig Brewer, screenplay by Craig Brewer, and Neil Diamond. Most of the songs you would know, and there's some Buddy Holly, and it's. So I watched the documentary and then I watched the movie. So I will say that the movie does a much better job in translating the documentary to a Hollywood-style movie. these two people are have a very interesting salt of the earth story, and them being a tribute act sort of is only a seasoning as to, they're just really, they're very much like the old Roseanne sitcom wanted to be. It's just showing very blue collar people who want more recognition from life, who want to be more than just that. And they do that through a world that I'm somewhat familiar with, which is like musical tribute acts. And there is enough drama and tragedy in their lives that warrant the sort of Hollywood treatment. And I think that the positives first. Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson give incredible performances, really grounded, incredible performances. They also sing, and they're musical. And the musical numbers, now I'm a little biased, I love Neil Diamond. The musical numbers are wonderful, and that's much better portrayed in 5.1 surround sound with the Hollywood treatment than you get in like a very low budget documentary of like VHS videos of people singing Neil Diamond songs. So the musical aspect is wonderful, and the first probably hour of this 2.5 hour movie is that. A lot of joy, a lot of music. It's a great love story. And then there's all the other stuff that happens. And not that it isn't worth telling, not that it isn't interesting, but the movie sets you up that it's one type of movie, and then it changes tone dramatically. I don't think the marketing prepares you for that. I don't think most people going to see the movie want to see that. And so that's sort of my criticism. I'm not saying that it's not a good story. It's very interesting. And but I think when you sit down and you watch those first 20 minutes, you think you're getting one type of movie, and it's really not a musical comedy. So I would say that. No going in. It is some great performances. It's worth your time, but it is not a musical comedy. So that's my take. That's the take on my take on, and it's actually probably, this is one where I'd say you could watch the movie. The documentary is a little bit harder to find, and it's not particularly great. Ronnie, what else other than The Bone Temple did you watch this week? Or play,
well, man,
or do?
I'm a very weird guy, so your audience will soon see that. I like watching shows I've watched in the past, and this show I haven't watched since the 90s. Remember Oz, Emerald City?
HBO, baby.
The jail show?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It really still holds up. It's such a great show, man. Like, I remember I was never a bad kid in school. I was a good kid. Weird kid, but a good kid. But I never wanted to go to jail because of that show. Oh my, you guys all saw Oz before, right? Keith, you saw Oz, right?
A lot of it.
I'm culturally familiar with it. I've only seen a couple of episodes.
It basically starts the HBO drama. I mean, without Oz, there'd be no Sopranos, there'd be no Wire, there'd be no Breaking Bad. Oz started it all, man. And just the performance alone, like J.K. Simmons, an Oscar winner, he's in it. Mr. Mayhem, Dean Winters. There's all these people from The Sopranos and what's the show? The Wire. It's crazy, man. It's
the dude in the wheelchair, right? There's that dude in the wheelchair who's the narrator.
Yeah. He's in From. Like, he's a star of From. He's been in everything. Dude, it's really cool, man. Carmela Soprano's in it. Like, but graphic. This is the best part.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's really graphic. Remember Luis Guzman? Right, yeah. He plays El Cid. This guy's a psychopath. So he literally gets a pole, run and start, throws it into a man's like chest, like, and you're like, Luis Guzman? What are you doing? Like, it's insane, man. Great watch. I'm on season 4. I've been binge watching this. I think
Chris Maloney's in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
How many seasons
the
are
guy
there?
from Sabler, from SUV, he's in
7,
it.
right.
It's so many people.
He was doing both of them at the same time at the beginning.
Yeah, dude, it's really good. And like, it's kind of depressing. It's bumming me out. But I like these jail shows. Like, I'm really depressed watching this, but I gotta finish it, you know? I need something upbeat, something happy. Like Bone Temple,
Yeah.
That did it for me.
So I guess let's jump into that. Ron and I went to see the Bone Temple. I was going by myself, and then Ron was like, "Oh, well, I'm going at 9:30," so I joined him. Learned last minute.
9:30.
Yeah. Learned last minute that this was 4DX seats, and the last time I saw a movie with Nick and Ron and Nick, it was a 4DX movie, and I swore to myself I would never do that again. That's when the thing shakes and it spits at you and it punches you in the face and all the things. So here we are, Ron also complained. We're both like, this is going to hurt my back. And here we are doing it anyway. So we go to
At
see
9:30 at night.
Yeah, well, that's what we did. So we go, we already did that. Sorry, Mike. I did all this prep. So we go see the Bone Temple. This is the second in the retread new trilogy based on the original 28 Days Later
By Daniel Boyle.
by Danny Boyle. The first of this reboot, Lega sequel scenario, a trio, was directed by Danny Boyle. This one is not directed by Danny Boyle. It is directed by
Nia DaCosta?
Yes, Nia, and still written by Alex Garland. And has everyone here seen the first one?
The first, you mean of the new ones?
Of the new ones.
No.
Okay.
28 years later.
I saw Days and Weeks. I have not seen Years yet.
Okay, so like general consensus, I believe Nick, we saw the first one together, yes? No,
I think we did.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a sort of, I will say, a prefix and a suffix of the movie that sort of tie it to the trilogy world, and then the movie in between those two spots is very standalone. That's how I felt when I saw it. Really enjoyed it. I liked the universe we were living in. This movie continues the vibes in that universe, and it focuses a little bit more on that adjacent story. I enjoy the new director's perspective. It's not shot on iPhone like the first movie was, or it's much more, feels much more cinematic. I think the score is wonderful. I think very much like that first movie, it's tangentially a horror genre film. It's very much more a meditation on faith and not religion, but faith and spirituality and the human condition in this very much human world, post-apocalyptic world. What it shares mostly in DNA from the first film is some returning characters, but also an absolutely schizophrenic tonal consistency. The tonal shifts in this movie are jarring, abrupt, and often. However, the magic trick, I think, and I'll let you jump in a second, is that it ties it together. So even when it's like just a crazy, whimsical, comedic beat, of which there are a few, the next scene may be a body horror, terribly upsetting, terrible, fated, like horror sequence, followed by some treatment of the infected and the infected grand lore that is, I still think, very progressive and moving the genre in places I didn't expect and haven't seen before. And then the third magic trick it pulls off is that it sets up the third film similarly. It introduces us to maybe where we're going and some people we might know, but also detaches itself and gives us a conclusion to the film we just saw, which I think is a really unique thing in doing sequels. Instead of trying to tie them all together into one grand plot or journey we're on, and then you end up leaving the audience at the end of the film like, well, I gotta wait now. This movie, just like the first movie felt like a standalone film, but then they let it tie to this one. This one felt like it was over when it was over. And now we get to see kind of where we're going. So overall, I think I really loved it. I was moved at times. I wanted to puke a couple times. And I think that's a pretty good night at the movies, Ron.
Great night at the movies, absolutely. I'll say this, Mike. It's just how far Community has fallen. Like, wow. And the infected, it's how humans are the monsters, not the infected. So I love what she did. But if you're a fan of the original, it's completely different.
It's not that.
Completely different. Completely different. And I don't care about the box office results, but it's kind of showing that because I think the 28 years later brought in 30 million opening weekend. This one's
16,
at 18 million. So it's like, are we not liking this? But if you're a fan of just great acting, because the acting was, oh my God, it was great. Like, who plays Jimmy? What's his name?
Yeah, I'll look it up for you a sec.
He's also in Sinners, dude. That's the guy from Sinners.
Yeah, he's the guy who plays the yeah.
He's one twisted, you know what, dude? Like, wow. It's a great movie. It's great acting.
They're all Jimmy.
Just
Yeah, the main
if you're
guy,
going to
though.
go to the theater and be like,
Jack O'Connell.
Yeah, Jack O'Connell, dude. And he's playing Clayface too, right? In DC.
I do not know. Yeah, this
I
is
think
his
so.
villain error. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's amazing, man. If you're going to the theater and just want to be like jump scares and scared, this isn't the one for you. It's a psychological horror to me. Like it really makes you think like crap, like humanity is really effed up. It's great, man. Go see it, check it out. I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's
How
one
come
of
you
the.
guys didn't see it yet?
It's well, Keith's got a couple months. It's got I would say probably the most inspired.
I'm going in no D.
Well, that I've heard. It's probably the most inspired performance by Ralph Fiennes I've seen in years. I mean, it is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what I say. Like with horror, I love like kind of like the MCU in a way. We want good actors. Like usually a horror movie is a big boob, blonde hair girl, can't act. No, give us good performances, and we're finally getting a good performance. And that's why this movie is amazing, because the performance is out this world.
Yeah, but even
Like,
the kids, there are some like young actors in this film that are really giving great performances. And you know, we get revisited by. I mean, this is not a spoiler to say. We see some continuation of the story of the alpha infected who we saw in the first film, who kind of got memed because you see his alpha member quite a bit in the first film. Member is back. His member is back. And I think the performance of this character as well, in a very much nonverbal performance of a zombie, for lack of a better term, is really great. And just, they take some big swings. I really enjoyed it. So it's high recommend from me, Ron.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend. Go check it out. Great movie.
I'm sad to hear Avatar is still kicking its ass at the box office, even though I haven't seen Avatar.
I know. So will we get a third one if it doesn't do that good?
Yeah, it's already greenlit. I think they're working on it.
Oh, okay, good.
It's happening.
Okay. Good.
So yeah, that's the Bone Temple.
It's gonna, regardless of the poor opening weekend, it only costs like 50 or 60 million to make them.
Right. Yeah, it's cheap. 68. I think you're right on the number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they'll definitely make the third one for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and that we'll leave it there. I think is the way to go.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch them all from the start. I forgot that the first one was shot on like a Samsung flip phone.
Yeah.
And I started watching. I'm like, oh, did I get the wrong feed? Oh, I got to get a different version of this. And I'm like, oh wait, no, that's what it is.
Well, that's what's crazy about watching the first 28 years later, is because it was also shot on iPhone, but technology has come real far.
Yeah.
What was the other thing? Oh yeah. So that brings me to the case, Keith. I know you will probably wait to see this on your home theater.
Guaranteed.
So I wanted to quickly just go around the horn here and talk a little bit about, now that, especially since COVID, and we all can be our homeowners at this point. What do you remember being kids? Like, what was movie night? What were you watching shows on? What was like the peak of it? And today, what does your system look like? What separates I'm just watching TV from like it's movie night and we're doing a home movie? Like what is that? What makes that for you? Because for me, it used to be the big. I needed a big screen. It's shifted a little bit, so I wanted to kind of get everybody's feelings on that. And if you want to talk about what you're working with these days, but I'll start. In fact, for me, it was always bigger is better in the beginning because our dad was a little obsessed. We had a rear projection tube television. So it was like, it weighed probably, what would you say, Nick, 6,000 to 12,000 pounds?
It was not going anywhere.
Yeah. And in my memory, it was like 700 inches. My memory of it is an enormous piece of furniture. However, I don't think it was big. We had a laser disc player, which is where Dad had all the high quality things, and he had Polk audio surround sounds. In fact, somebody actually came and installed it, which was very unlike my dad. He was generally a kind of like, I can do this type of scenario.
And they don't usually install stuff when it falls off a truck, right?
Oh, no, I think whoever's truck it was is the guy who installed it, is what I think.
Ah, I see. All right.
I just remember a mass of wires and speaker wires going in the back and how intimidating that was. I've looked up, and I believe Laserdisc players also output at 360. Like, so however
480,
big,
right?
maybe,
At
however
least,
big
maybe?
the TV looked, the quality of the Abyss Laserdisc was not as high as we thought. It was just loud. I'm not sure we even had a sub, Nick. Do you remember if there was a sub?
There was a sub. Yeah.
And I remember we didn't use the actual Dolby digital encoding. We just put it on like fake upmix so that we could hear it all around because the something about the surround was obsessive. So I remember that, and then I over the years have poo-pooed my dad about it and being like, oh well, well guess what, folks? I did the exact same thing in my house. I have my television, and I've been obsessed for the past year probably of completing a 5.1.2 Dolby system here. So for me now, it's the sound, right? I was always about getting the most high definition video feed, and I've got an OLED television. It's not that big, but it's about building the Atmos sound now. But what I find is that we spend the majority of our time upstairs with a little sound bar because it's comfortable. And so ultimately, all I've done down here is spent a lot of money, and we spend most of our time upstairs with a little sound bar. So diminishing returns. But you know what? It's fun. The obsession is real. Ron, talk to me.
So, growing up, I wanted something like a big TV. It's all about this. Bigger is better. I'm all about the big TVs. So now I have a 72-inch Sony upstairs.
Nice.
I had people actually come install it because I'm not handy at all. And if I would have installed it, it would have dropped and fell down and broke, and I'd been sad and crying. My sound, I got to work on that, man. I'm thinking about getting a sound bar, dude, to be honest with you. Because right now, and we talked about this the other day, I have so many wires. It's just disgusting. I need someone that watches the show. Come to my house and help me out. Please help me. It's too many wires around.
Just
I'm
the
not a
cable
handyman
management.
at all, so
Yeah.
I can't do anything. But something that you got me into, Mike, you too, Keith, I'm all about the lights now, dude. Oh my God. So I just got the curtains now, the curtain lights. So when we were like watching a movie when the Eagles were playing, yes, when they were playing, I put the Eagles logo on the lights. It'd be all green and white. That's my movie right now with the lights. 100%
Ambiance,
the lights.
baby. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's what it's about, dude. Yeah, you got me into that. It's expensive habits. So
You buy the
thanks,
pizza,
buddy.
man. I will
Appreciate
come
it.
help you with cord management. It's really not difficult. It's sort of an obsession for me, in fact, I would say.
Sort of.
It's on me now too. It's just like it's annoying. I can't enjoy the movie because I see these damn cords.
It's tough too, and I'll let you speak to this because it takes two to tango. I'm lucky in that Jen doesn't really come down here, so I can take out the ceiling and run wires up there and put all these kinds of Atmos speakers, and she doesn't complain too much. But as I said in the text message to you, Nick, happy wife, happy life. What are you rocking? You got a big house, and your wife could give two shits about
any of that stuff. Yeah. And my house is so crowded with stuff that Danielle finds so valuable, which to me is
I think we
clutter.
stumbled onto something here.
Yeah. All I wanted was like a nice sound system in our giant living room. So, we've got the 85-inch TV.
Real nice, yeah.
So, the big screen. And I just wanted a basic surround sound system. But she doesn't want the wires visible anywhere, and I can't afford to go wireless. And the space is so large because there's it's an open ceiling basically. Mm-hmm. So you need a pretty powerful system in order to actually fill the space. So she did concede about a year ago to I don't know, I guess it's a basic system, but it's not enough and it is wired. So I've done the best I can to kind of hide the wires, to sneak one kind of behind the fireplace, but it annoys her tremendously because you can see a wire.
I can't see a wire at your house, man.
Because you're not looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not looking for them. She is.
Huh.
Yeah, so somewhat problematic there. I would love to have and that goes back to like Mike was saying with our dad. When I went to college, our first year in the dorms, me and Rick and our college friends, and dorms are pretty small, like the size of this tiny little podcasting room. We advertised a movie night, and we made flyers on the dot matrix printer and hung them up at the dorm right across from ours, which was the female dorm. And we had a regular stereo with just like we set up 4 speakers. They weren't surround sound, and they're definitely not crisp. I mean, there was a lot of you were getting a lot of kickback on these things, and we're just like looking out the window to see like is anyone gonna come to our big giant movie night held in a room that's like 5 feet by 5 feet, right? Oz size cells. And interestingly, a lot of people showed up, which a whole separate story to that one. But so yeah, the sound, the look, the view, it's always been kind of a big deal for us. And I remember when my first house, which was literally next door to where Mike now lives.
Yeah.
25 Roboda.
Coincidentally,
yeah. But I got to buy my first big screen TV then, and that was still rear projection. 700, 800, 900 pounds, whatever that thing weighed. So things have really come a long way, which is that part of it's exciting.
Keith Varney?
Yeah. So, well, first off, I feel like I should just to point out how damn old I am. That our big screen when I was a kid growing up was, I believe, maybe a 20-inch color TV. I should point out it was color.
Yeah.
No, because we're up in the middle of nowhere. No cable, no satellite, none of that. It's whatever came over the air and run on like a little VCR thingy. So we only got 3 channels, and there was no remote. So I would lie on the floor of the basement, which basically cement, and change the VCR was so old that each channel had its own button on the thing of the VCR. So I would change the channel with my toe, going from like 22 to 3 to 6, which was CBC Canada. And so that's what I thought was that no extra speaker, no nothing. It was whatever came out of the darn TV, and I didn't know any better, and I was fine. So today, yeah. So I don't have the setups you guys do, but what I have, because I have a 65-inch. It's a TCL 6 series, which is a really good medium end sort of a television there. But for me, yes, it's about the lights. It's being able to have control over your lights. See, I turned mine to green because Mike is still keying me out.
Oh yeah, I forgot I was keying you. Why am I doing that?
I was like, why am I being keyed? It was very strange.
I have no idea why, to be honest with you.
I don't know. But I turned to red, and all of a sudden I'm back in the real world. But what I like to, hey Mike,
how's it going?
For me, I don't need it to be the biggest or the loudest. I have a hand me across system from Mike for my surround sound. But for me, because of my attention span issues, I don't need a big TV. I need lots of TVs. So next to my 65, I have a 50, which is my secondary TV. So the second thing I'm watching. And then I have 2 24s mounted next to the 65, so I can have sort of tertiary and the fourth TV as necessary. It's good for like football, but also like yesterday, right? Football game wasn't super interesting, so I had the football game on the 65. I had baskets on the 50, and then I had the 4 news channels on one of the 24s, and that felt like enough information with my phone. So that's how my setup works.
There's not enough Adderall to make me be able to pay attention to 4 screens at one time.
Because I can't just like play video games and that be the only thing happening.
I have to. We're so different. It's one thing or nothing for me. Yeah, I cannot.
I can't. I would be bored to tears.
I spent. So one thing I wanted to do, and Jen was away, so I could do it yesterday. Is Dirac room correction. So I have all these speakers, right? But your room is very different. Like Nick, you have vaulted ceilings. Mine bounce. I have all these guitars, and I live in an apartment, so like I had to tow the speakers. Anyway, Dirac room correction is this. I had to pay like $45 for it to get it onto my receiver, but it takes, I think it was like 67 sweep measurements of each speaker. It took like an hour and a half, and then it creates a custom room curve for you, and then you can alter that room curve, and then it uploads it to your receiver, and then gives you specific room calibration based on how many people are in the room. It is a whole thing. I'm learning a whole new science. It's a new obsession, but that is exciting. But speaking of exciting,
that is so deeply you, buddy.
I know.
I love it.
That's why I won't belabor it, because I think maybe only I care. Okay, let's close it out.
We're We're surfing a little bit here.
All right, Weekly Rad is a time where we talk about something that took place last week, is going to take place this week, that we're excited about, we thought was rad. Let's start. Speaking of baskets, Keith.
Yeah.
Weekly Rad, bro.
So, breaking news from like 7 years ago. Louis Anderson, may he rest in peace, plays Zach Galifianakis' mother. And this is like, you would think, oh, it's a comedian playing a woman. It's going to be some sort of like a drag performance or a, sort of a comedy thing. It is one of the most beautifully calibrated, heartbreaking, real, lived-in performance I have ever seen.
Really?
It is extraordinary work. And the writing around it is like, I watched one episode like, oh, that was so beautiful. And then it was written by Samuel D. Hunter, who is a Broadway playwright. Like the show itself is so relentlessly bleak. It wouldn't necessarily be for me normally because its worldview is so sad. But Louis Anderson's performance on this show is just so extraordinary. It makes all the rest of it feel like noise. So like in the first season, she's more of a secondary character. Second season, she starts to take over the show, and it's so good. So Louis Anderson in Baskets, he was nominated to play the character like 3 years in a row. Deserves it, but like.
And how are you watching
old
that?
News. Don't worry about it.
Is it available streaming?
Probably.
Okay. I know not to ask that question anymore.
How many seasons is there?
There were 4 seasons. They're short. The episodes are only half hour long. It was on FX, I think, originally. Only 4 seasons. There's like 10, 12 episodes a season. So
I
it's
think
not.
I watched
It's
all
not
season 1. I don't know if I watched after season 1, honestly. But
yeah,
it was a
I
great
thought
show.
season 2 was a big improvement on season 1. So I don't know. Check it out, Louis Anderson. It's just like it's this amazing performance that everyone else was talking about and I was ignoring. But because I show up about 6-7 years later,
I don't know that I've ever even heard of the show, Baskets.
Oh,
He wants to be like a clown or something.
yeah.
right?
So it's Zach Galifianakis playing a failed clown
Yeah.
in Bakersfield, California, who gets hired to be a rodeo clown, even though he was like trained with like French pretension.
Yeah.
And he also plays his twin brother, who's sort of like a loser, and they're sort of being taken care of by their mother.
Does it does it end or was it like canceled?
I don't really. I think it sort of ended. It went 4 seasons. It's not a narrative thing. It doesn't matter.
All right.
So you could sort of stop at any point, start at any point. It's much more vibes based than plot driven.
Nick, Weekly Rad, let's talk about murder, I suppose?
Yeah, it's all murder all the time, pretty much. The last week's, now this wasn't this past Friday, it was the week before. The 2020 episode was called Badass Detective. And this was a cold case which had been gone for quite some time, never going to be solved. And this particular detective, who they spend some quality time having his fellow colleagues describe him and how tenacious he is, and the things he was willing to do, and dumpster diving and undercover work and things like that in order to solve this crime. And it's a pretty fascinating 2-hour exploration of someone who's just not going to stop, and he's going to find justice for these people, and he does. And it's pretty fascinating and interesting to watch how he does it. So this was last week's 2020 episode called Badass Detective, and earlier I mentioned the Dateline called The Trouble with Sarah. Both excellent ones this week. There's also, though, a new show that's on ID Discovery. Well, I guess it's just ID now. And I believe it's Tuesday nights that the new episodes drop, but it's a Texas Ranger, and he's described as one of the most cocky, arrogant Texas Rangers who's ever lived, and he really is.
Which has got to be saying something, I imagine.
You would think, I mean, just watching the first episode, you're like, wow, like this guy really is full of himself. But you learn that that's kind of a character he's playing, and you actually get to see the interview tapes of the criminals he's interviewing, trying to get confessions and things like that. So that's another really good show that just debuted. That if you're into like the true crime stuff and like watching, especially the confessions, like where they're really trying to get someone to crack, this guy was really, really good.
There's a whole YouTube channel I watch that's just like breaking down FBI interrogations and the techniques and stuff. It's dark. True crime. You'd think that fad was going to go away. I don't think it ever will. I mean, Dateline and 2020 are like the staples.
I mean, people love murdering each other. There's no doubt.
That's never going away either. Yeah.
It's very American.
I'm watching one now on HBO Max of this dude who was hiding bodies in this like fertilizer tank, and he would like unweld it and then re-weld it. Very interesting. Ronnie, Weekly Rad, talk to me.
Weekly Rad. Well, I'm not on the ID topic, but it's called Killer Roommates. Oh, it's amazing. Check that out.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Only one season though. That's such a good one. If you're in the Philadelphia area, this Saturday at 2 p.m. is Drexel Homecoming.
Was this contractually obligated?
Ronnie, tell us why we're so excited about Drexel. And if we go down to the game.
Because not only is it homecoming, and we are 5th in the CAA right now, so it's a playoff push or a tournament push, your host with the most is going to be there.
Yeah, there you go.
Signing autographs, changing diapers, all that fun stuff.
You get to shoot the confetti gun.
Honestly, man, like, the DAC gets packed. We have up to 3,000 people there. So that is my WrestleMania. That is my Super Bowl. 3,000 screaming, drunk college co-eds. Oh, man, it's awesome. So if you're around, come down, check it out, man.
All right.
I wish I lived closer.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear how it goes.
You got to throw a t-shirt at me.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane. I was asked to a fraternity party last year. And Anne Marie said, you better not go. And I did not go.
No, that was the right decision. That was the right decision.
Mature decisions. Yeah, listen, I'll just do a quick one from last Friday. I went to the first audition I've been to in probably over a year plus. And
right.
I will say, we talk often on the show about mental health and such. And I worked for a couple of weeks with my therapist, just about like I want to have a new approach when I get these opportunities to just be able to go and look at it for what it is and not put all of the pressure that I learned to put on myself through my 20s and 30s, and just like focus on small little incremental things I can control in the room. And I have to say, it was really just a wonderful day. I was very like stress free, and I was felt very prepared, and that's what it was for me. And it was like, I'm taking it as like a really mature win for myself. And I just, and even the fact that I can share that I went to something with the internet and with my buddies is special for me, because it's not to be able to get away from like, are they going to call me? It's not really about that. It's about just going and like continually letting people know that you do quality work. And it was really, I'm really happy about that. So
I'm so glad to hear that, because I think about that a lot. I've been working on sort of the same sort of thought process, sort of in a slightly different way, but like trying to make my 40s be about developing a non-abusive relationship with my dreams.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah. So listen, that's thanks guys. Oh, wow. I got to fix that button. That's good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Oh, man. We looked so good for a second.
Oh, man. That's the button I wanted. God dang it. Next week.
Never.
What an amazing hour. Thank you so much for joining me, Ron, Keith, Nick. And we will be back next week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or things you'd like to hear us talk about, you can catch us at knmgeekly.com, knmgeekly@gmail.com. You can subscribe to the channel below. Leave us comments on the channel below, or you can become a patron at patreon.com/knm. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys joining me. And in the meantime, oh no! We'll do it in post.
No, you gotta leave it.
Remember, life is hard. Keep on doing the things you find fun. Don't let anyone yuck your yum, and keep on geeking on. Till next week, peace.